All right. Hey, we are. So the national championship is finally here. It feels like college football started in like. Basically, we're in second semester. Like, geez, Louise, it's been a long time. But anyway, um, we now know who's going to be in it. Well, it's tomorrow, our Martin Luther King Day, and you're sorry, guys. I'm doing too much. All right, Miami's facing Indiana in the championship game, and um, this is the first time Miami has been in the national championship since 2001, and this is the first time Indiana has been in the championship game ever. Um, this is cool if you are a fan of college football because the storyline of Indiana and their head coach basically stripping away what you believe to be the college football, the hierarchy, the Alabama, the Notre Dames, the Oklahoma, the Texases of the world. What Indiana is kind of doing is similar to what Miami did in the 80s. Came out of nowhere, built up this program, and basically built the program to become so legendary that people held onto it despite years, decades, without winning. And it's a lot to do with the rich Hall of Famers this university has seen, whether it's Michael Irvin, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Sean Taylor. Come on, the list is literally endless. Greg Olson, Jeremy Shockey, Vinny Testaverde, I believe. Like just a laundry list of who's who that went to the U, and now that they're back in the national championship and they play, we're gonna find out if it's real or it's fake. Let's break it down, shall we? Miami with Carson Beck, who feels like he's been in college now since I started college in 2004. Pretty decent year. 3,500 yards passing, 29 touchdowns. He had 11 interceptions. His running game, Mark Fletcher Jr., over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. He averages about 4 yards a carry. And then from a wide receiver standpoint, I'm not going to butcher this poor guy's name, but a wide receiver, Tony, over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. Defensively, the Miami team is good collectively. Their standout is Akeem Murder Sr. It's crazy to think guy's name is senior in college. 10 and a half sacks. Miami this past year has shown a lot of ups and downs, but more importantly, there was a lot of conversation. This team was supposed to have been here all year, and then they had some setbacks. They came into the playoffs with a lot of scrutiny because people felt Notre Dame should have got in. And honestly, if UVA beats Duke, Miami doesn't make it because UVA would have made it because they would have got that automatic bid. But by them losing, it took care of that. But Miami making it to the championship has proven that they deserve to have been here. Their biggest competition was Notre Dame at the time. South Florida, Florida State was a big one, but they, just like Indiana, didn't have a crazy schedule. The 2 games that they lost to Louisville and SMU were very close games. If you scale Miami's defense, right, just like Indiana, Miami has not allowed a team to score more than 25 points, but one time. One time, and that was SMU 26-20 in an overtime game. Everyone else they faced, it's been under 25 points a game. Indiana, even in the college playoffs, Texas A&M was supposed to have an explosive offense. Only 3 points. Ohio State, the juggernaut Ohio State, 14 points. And then Ole Miss, they gave 27 to Ole Miss, but that was a close game, and Ole Miss has a great offense on them. Look at Indiana. Almost mirrored the same, except no losses in their case. Fernando Mendoza, a Miami native, the quarterback of Indiana, the Heisman Trophy winner, 41 touchdowns, over 33 yards passing. Not a he gets not a huge arm on the kid, you know what I mean? But he basically dink and dunks, can manage it, gets it done. And then you look at his run game and Roman. I'm just gonna go with his first name, Roman. 7 touchdowns, 1,000 yards rushing. Mendoza has two very solid wide receivers in Omar Cooper, 13 touchdowns with over about 800 yards receiving, and Elijah just over 800 yards receiving with 15 touchdowns. But it's Indiana's defense where they have a collective. They have one guy 8 sacks, another guy 7 sacks, another guy 6 sacks, another guy 6 sacks. Indiana has not allowed more than 30 points all year. They haven't allowed more than 24 points the entire year. Their defense is insanely smothering. Now, when we look at who they face, remove Old Dominion, remove Crenshaw State, remove Indiana State. Now, Illinois was ranked 9th, 10 points. Iowa, 15 points. Oregon, 20 points. Not once, but twice. And if you look at that second game when they beat Oregon, the only reason why Oregon got 22 points is because Indiana put the bench in. Indiana was done with them. It was 43-3 going into the half. Like, it was over. Alabama, 3 points. Ohio State, 10 points. Penn State, 24 points. Penn State gave them a run for their money. But when you look at how great their defense is this year, Miami, good Lord. Carson Beck has to play mistake-free football. With that being said, he can't play cautiously. You got to go down the field. You got to look for the big plays. You got to look on the opportunity. But Miami, what they're fortunate is they got a solid running back. The problem is Indiana knows what to do with running backs in this case. I'm curious. I'm a Miami fan. This is the one time if Miami wins, I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to beat my chest. I'm going to be right there with Michael Irvin, taking my belt off and spanking something. Pause. But if Indiana wins, I'm looking for a great game. I'm hoping I can catch the game because I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be on the road. And by the time if I leave at the right time, by the time I get to where I'm getting, I should be able to catch at least the second half of the game. If not, I'll be listening to it or watching it in the car. All right. This is going to be a phenomenal game, or it's going to be a big blowout. And if it is a blowout, it's going to be on the Miami side because Miami's defense is really good, and Carson Beck has been in college football so damn long that we may need to start checking his papers. That's all I'm saying. But we're going to see a great game. We're going with Miami in this one, and I'm going to say this will be an offensive showdown. Two teams with great defenses? Nah, bruh. I'm looking for an offensive showdown. I am, and we're going to see it. Listen, greatest college football game I've ever seen, I tell it every year, was Texas versus USC. Vince Young, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, like that was star-studded. And then the greatest college football player I ever see win the national championship was Cam Newton by himself. This is going to be a phenomenal coaching affair. One of these coaches, I pray both these coaches stay in college football. But you have stars, whether it's Beck, whether it's Mendoza, whether it's Cooper. You have stars out here. Unfortunately, because it's not Bama, it's not Texas, ESPN doesn't really have a whole lot of luster behind it. And it's my fault because I didn't hype it up all week. I was busy. But this is going to be a phenomenal, great game. I'm looking forward to it. Let's go, Miami. Time for the U, as Mike said, to take back to us. I was going to do a whole thing where Michael Irvin was going to do the show, but SNL did it, and it was really good. Go check out SNL last night. I can't remember the guy's name, the comedian, but he did Michael Irvin, and he was spot on. Trust me. All right. So, how are we going to wrap this show up, shall we? How are we going to wrap it up? MLB is thinking about, there's a lot of conversation that salary cap could be on the way to MLB. Collective bargaining agreement ends this season. And the reason why it ramped up even more is because the Los Angeles Dodgers basically said, well, if you don't want to sign him, we will. And that's why I'm going to say it's not a problem. There doesn't need to be a salary cap. And what do I mean by that is the Dodgers signed Kyle Tucker, $60 million a year or something like that. Tucker, a player that a lot of people felt should have been, was a prominent free agent. Here's the problem. It has zero to do with the salary cap. Baseball doesn't need a salary cap. The commissioner of the league needs to nut up, go to the owners, particularly, and let me make sure I have my list in front of me before I destroy every single owner that needs to be destroyed. All right? And let's back up. Let's take this back a little bit. Luxury tax got established in baseball around 2005. All right? George Steinbrenner said, whatever, eat it. I'm going to do what I want to do. Then George, he passed away. His son took over, and basically, like every kid, and I've told this before, like every kid that inherits money all of a sudden doesn't want to spend it. Oh, I'm not going to spend that. This was stupid. Daddy spent it recklessly, despite Daddy made the money, okay? Baseball, it's an even playing field in the sense of you can spend it. Whether you get the return on the investment is another thing, but just because you spend the most doesn't mean you just guarantee to win a championship. But it's there for you to spend, okay? If the reason why there's so much hubbub about the Dodgers signing everybody is because the way it's set up, people are expecting the Yankees, the Mets, the Phillies, St. Louis, Chicago, and did I say the Red Sox? The Red Sox, the Braves, for that matter, to spend money. Now, to get back to this luxury tax, the way it works is if a team goes over the luxury tax, they pay a penalty. That penalty is supposed to go to a small market. Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Milwaukee, Tampa Bay. You get what I'm saying. But the idea is for them to get the money and spend it on talent. Here's the problem. Pittsburgh doesn't spend any money on talent. Kansas City doesn't spend any money on talent. The Reds barely spend any money on talent. Cleveland barely spends money on talent. Forget about Oakland. Oakland managed, they don't even manage with coupons. They just cry poverty completely. The Padres spend recklessly. The Giants have gotten a little cheap, but they've always been a little cheap. Arizona, we forget exists. The Nationals put themselves up for sale, so they stopped spending. And Baltimore always has been kind of historically cheap. Baseball doesn't need a salary cap. What they need is their ownership to step up, and what they need is their commissioner to nut up, go to owners, and demand them to spend this money. There's no reason. I'm a Yankee. There's no reason the Yankees couldn't get Bo Bichette. There's no reason the Yankees couldn't get Alex Bregman. The Yankees have zero talent in their infield. Zero. I'm going to say it again. Zero. There's no all-star in that infield. Anthony Volpe. Volpe made the all-star game one time. Last year, reality stepped in. Okay? Jazz Chisholm was in the outfield. They had to make him play third and second. This, we could fill in and plug in players is ridiculous and stupid. The Dodgers ain't filling in and plugging in players. They're putting their people in the right spots. All-star first baseman. All-star second baseman. All-star third short. This is what you're supposed to do when you're in the Dodgers. Is the Dodgers' fault they got all this money? They're supposed to feel sorry for, if Pittsburgh has the money. I'm not saying Pittsburgh needs to give Juan Soto contract, but I'm pretty sure Pittsburgh can spread the wealth. The other problem baseball has is what's that agent's name? I can't think of his name. They got an agent who everybody's represented by, and he ruins it for the whole game. What the frick is this agent's name? What is his name? Agent. There's an agent. What is his name? What's this idiot's name? Who's always like running up the prices. Agent. Scott Boras. Yeah, him. And baseball needs to get rid of Scott Boras. Scott Boras is running up. He's like robbing people, or players have to sit. But the reason why the Dodgers are signing these players because nobody's signing them. Because people, I'm going to go back to when you have the Yankees, who the Dodgers are basically imitating, the Dallas Cowboys imitate, the Lakers, like every major franchise imitates the Yankees. Go spend the money and get the best available player. The Yankees used to shop on Fifth Avenue. They don't even shop at Macy's for talent. Hell, they don't even go to the damn outlet store. They're going to the Dollar General and Dollar Tree and Five and Below and doing this. Every time the Yankees and Brian Cashman sign a player, they cross their fingers. If you listen on the radio, that's what I'm doing. They cross their fingers. And they hope that the poor unfortunate guy they just signed is going to turn out and have this great. No, stop that crap. The Dodgers don't cross their fingers. The Dodgers go, here. Here's that bread. Do it. Go take care of business. You go make yourself look pretty. If baseball wants to fix itself, the first thing you have to do is you got to stop having these teams govern themselves the way they do. Pittsburgh cannot continuously can't just be bad. The White Sox can't just be bad. The A's just can't be bad. You just can't. The Colorado Rockies, good Lord, just can't be bad. And you're in baseball and you're sitting there talking about expansion? Expansion for what? You have 1, 2, 3, the Miami Marlins. Let me just name off these franchises. You have the Colorado Rockies, the Miami Marlins, the White Sox, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and for that matter, the Cincinnati. You have 5 franchises that don't spend money, don't draft well, don't sign players, don't manage well, they do not run their franchises. And now you want to add to that? For what? Worry about what you have now and see if you can fix this. If you're Rob Manfred and you're not in Pittsburgh's ass every day, if you're not in the White Sox butt, if you're not the Miami Marlins, you want to move them or get rid of them because it's just pointless. The A's are going to Las Vegas. They're supposed to start in Las Vegas, and they can't even have they can't even go by the Vegas Athletics. Baseball is being mishandled and misrun because the commissioner has zero clue on what he's doing. Zero. Basically, to give it a commissioner is basically like the CEO. And his job is to make the owners feel happy. And the players to understand, like, you exist. But if you're an owner in baseball and you think Rob Manfred is doing a good job, then you're just an idiot. You don't have a TV contract. You have you're not visible in the world. And it's true, Cam Newton was right. In maybe 8 more years, the WNBA will pass Major League Baseball in range of popularity. And that's unfortunate. It really is. All right. Thank you all for watching and listening. It's been fun. We'll see you guys in another week, maybe. Download the show at Spotify. Follow us and like us on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. Follow and subscribe on YouTube. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Join the bench and become one of the bench warmers. That's a friend. I'm going to record that. All right. See you guys again. It's been fun. Be safe. The weather's been a little funky in the Northeast, so watch the roads. As always, hold it down. Deuces. MLK, will you close this out?